Hello, this is Miguel, and this video is for Ken and Chris. In this video, we're going to make a basic flange, and we'll base the flange information off of the 24-inch flange for the Venturi meter. I don't have the M11 specs on me, so I'm not sure exactly what the specs are for the flange, but it doesn't matter. You guys will be able to do this. Okay, so then first of all, we have a new part here. We're going to call this part, we'll call it 24-inch flange. And what we're going to do, as we normally do, is come into the origin here and turn on all our planes so we can see what we're looking at. And we're going to start our sketch. Alright, so here's our sketch, and the first thing what we'll do is we'll do inside diameter. And I'm going to dimension this one right here because notice how it says 0.241 inches. If I start messing around with the dimensions after I've sketched it out first, might distort it a little bit too much, so we'll just go ahead and call that 24 inches right there. Now, for the next portion here, we're going to draw another circle here. Now, there's two ways to dimension this, obviously. You can dimension this in reference to the inner flange, or you can just do an outer flange dimension. So let's go ahead and kill this guy here. Drives me crazy, so I click on it, I can't delete it. I just want to delete the darn dimension, but it doesn't let me delete it. Delete. So I'm not sure exactly what the consistency with that is or not. I think it has to do with how long you hover over it. If you hover over it, if you just click on it, I don't know, there's got to be something around there. Anyway, so the outer dimension here is going to be 32 inches. Alright, so there's our flange right there. And the next thing we're going to want to do is give it the dimensions of the actual holes. And so I had some trouble with this earlier, but we'll see how this works out. So what we're going to do is we're going to come in here, and we're going to create this line right here, which is going to be a construction line. We'll right click and do construction, and I did this on the Venturi demo. We're going to project geometry here, which is going to be our axis is there. Now we're going to dimension the angle between this and the construction line. This is going to be 360 degrees divided by 20 divided by 2. And then now we're going to do one more construction line here, and we're going to base this on this information that we have here, which is the diameter of the bolt circle, which is 29.5. Go to our dimension here and just hit 29.5. Turn this into a construction line, and there we go. We have our intersection point of that point, and we are going to now go to add a point there. That is where our hole is going to be, and we'll go OK. So now we have our flange. The next thing to do, of course, is to extrude this. So we're going to extrude that out 1.88 inches, which is the thickness of that. Now this is where it gets a little bit sketchy. So if I look at change the visibility here, I have my points right there. The question is whether we can access that actual point. Oh, on the extrusion here, let's go back to the extrusion. double click on that. We're going to extrude, rather than a distance, we're going to do symmetric. So it's going to split the flange down the middle. So there we go. We're done with that. Okay. So now if you look at our plane, oh, it did not do it. We're going to change this here to symmetric. Hit click. Okay, so if you look at our plane now, it's going through the actual flange. This just makes it easier to set it up, in my opinion. All right, and I can't see our point that we have here. It's probably because this is not transparent. So if we go to visual style and do wireframe, now we should be able to see it. Okay, so then now we're going to do our hole here. Now, what's interesting is the hole is going through everything, but because it starts in the center plane right there, it doesn't work really well on there. So this is a situation that you end up with when you have when you try and dimension everything on that same on the same sketch. So what we'll do is we'll come into here, back into the sketch. I'm just going to delete everything in here, and we'll leave that as the flange there, and then we'll place the whole information on the face here. So we'll start our sketch here. Okay, so now we have a new sketch that we're on. We're going to call this bolt hole pattern. It's interesting because your mind kind of thinks, well, maybe I can just put everything on one drawing, but it's not like that. So bolt hole pattern, and then we have our sketch. We'll go ahead and go from the center out there. Again, this is a construction line. We're right clicking, doing construction line. We're going to project just geometry right here. There we go. And not sure why it projected that geometry. And then now we're going to dimension from here to here. And again, this is going to be 360 divided by 20 divided by 2. That gives us whatever our degrees are there. We'll come in here. Now these don't have to be construction lines, but I like to keep them as construction lines because it allows me to then know that they're not there to be drawn on or to be extruded. So we'll come back over here. This is 29.50. And then we're going to add a point to here. Now we can finish our sketch. Now we can add our hole here from sketch. Now it's taking it through there. Our hole is diameter 1.38 inches. So we're doing a hole right here. We're going through all. We're going to do the dimension here of 1.38 inches. There's different types of holes here, as you can see, but we want to go through everything like this, so it's a simple hole. And then when we're done, we're done. We do that, we're okay. Now the next thing that we want to do is we have an axis right here, so that could be our axis, I believe so. Sometimes you have to draw the axis, but we already have an existing axis, so we'll do a circular pattern. We're going to click our feature, which is our hole here, and our rotation axis is going to be the axis right there. We're going to choose 20 of them, and it's going to go around full 360 degrees, and we'll hit OK. Let's change our view to visual style to visual style to shaded, and there we go. So then we can go ahead and take away some of the visibility of some of these things. So we can see our holes, our bolt holes there and stuff. And there is our flange. Now this is just a simple flange, it's not an eye part, so you would have to reuse this over and over again. So that's about it for how to make a flange, and